Welcome again to this episode of 3 Vegas. You can see there's more than 3 people sitting at our table today. That's because we have the fabulous Amber joining us in person to do her reading live with us. Now, remember, all episodes are recorded live. We don't cut them, we don't edit them, and they go every week, they drop on the channel. But today we have our special guest in studio. So she's going to be asking her specific question, and all 3 of us will be addressing that in just a minute. I want to thank John here at WWDBTV for allowing this broadcast to be possible here live, recorded live from Las Vegas. I also want to introduce Tami Roitman, clinical intuitive hypnotherapist, and the master astrologer, Kris, and myself, Mona Van Joseph. I do intuitive tarot. So we're going to be back in just a minute, and we're going to address Amber's question.
Hi, I'm Kris Gray, the Astro Cowgirl. You may have seen me on 3 Vegas, the mystical series featuring 3 intuitives, Tami Roitman, an intuitive hypnotherapist, myself, a master astrologer, and of course our host, Mystic Mona, a tarot consultant. Each of us taps into our own modality to bring you clarity and guidance. If you'd like to experience it for yourself, you can visit www.3.vegas to book a one-on-one session to connect with us individually, or even submit to be a guest on an upcoming episode. Again, that's www.three.vegas. You can also find me at Astrological.com, where I share insightful monthly forecasts. Thank you for joining us every week on WWDBTV.com for a new episode of 3 Vegas. And as always, a special thanks to John Stiles at WWDBTV for hosting our program. Many blessings, and I look forward to helping you unlock your cosmic potential.
Welcome back, Amber. Welcome to the program. You get to be live in the studio. Woo!
Thank you.
It's so cool. So cool. So the way it works is you're going to ask a question or you're going to bring up an issue. And then all 3 of us are going to concentrate on you individually for that issue. All right. So you get to choose who gets to go first, whether it's me or Kris or Tami. So what is your question today?
So I had to write it down because I forget.
Okay, that's fine.
But I want to see, is there anything that I need to know right now about my health, future, and my path? And if there's anyone around me in spirit that has a message.
Okay, got it.
Did you say health? Health, okay.
Okay, so who would you like to have answer the question first?
Not her.
Oh,
Yeah.
not Tami.
Actually, you first.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. Tami might put her fingers in the ears because she doesn't want to be influenced by what anyone else says. So, all right, here we go. So, mediumship is not my specialty. If there's a message that comes through, I'm going to tell you what the message is, but I don't know who that might be from. All right. So sometimes I get, spirit talking to me, but it's like I can't, call out to Uncle Billy and go, Uncle Billy, dude, you got like an answer here for Amber. So I can't, I don't think that works. I think
Right.
Spirit reveals what Spirit is supposed to reveal at the time it's supposed to reveal it.
Yes.
And usually that's an intimate connection that you have with that spirit on the other side. So give me a minute to concentrate on you. All right. You are definitely surrounded by angels because the card that's come up in your reading here is this card of angels. There are actually 3 angels around you. I believe 2 of them are for sure relatives, and 1 is somebody that you loved very, very deeply. So, but what I'm getting here is that this man that's trying to reach you is right here. And all it's saying is that stop being so hard on yourself. Stop beating yourself up. There was nothing you could have done, nothing you could have said, nothing you could have not said or not done that would have made anything different. Because what it's saying that he chose this. This was his choice as a being on this planet. You have been living in a very it's like a self-inflicted emotional prison connected with this. And that's not the truth of what this is. What the truth of it is that this person, this love was supposed to be in your life for the time that he was in your life. All right. It is actually introducing you to your own intuitive ability. So all of this is acting as a catalyst for you to trust the fact that you are highly intuitive. And one of the things you do particularly well, and this could be something that resonates to your job, is that you can look at someone and know right away if they're the real deal or full of crap as soon as you look at them. You've actually had that gift since you were very little, but it's more magnified since this spirit is now on the other side. Whatever you do for work, by the way, you're very good at it. You're detail oriented. People seek you out as an expert. And even if you don't have the title of manager, director, or vice president, people come to you as though you actually have that title because you guide them and you train them that way. So, but what's the biggest message I'm getting spiritually for you is that all of this is divine timing, and every single thing that you've been through is appropriate for I guess spirit's timing. All right. And you got to stop beating yourself up over something you had absolutely no control over. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that all make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. All right. So do you want Kris next?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, your sun is in Scorpio. It's very late degree, so you sit right there on the cusp of Scorpio and Sagittarius. But your rising sign is Aries. Did you know that? Have you? Okay. All right. So your rising sign is very unique to you because it's based upon the time of day you were born and location. And so it also is, it makes up a big part of kind of who you are. But then it's what determines kind of where everything kind of falls in your life and your journey through this lifetime. So what's interesting is that it's in Aries, and it actually, your moon sits right there on that ascendant. And so what that means is exactly what Mona said. You're highly intuitive, and you have been your entire life. And actually, I actually wonder if you haven't had like paranormal experiences, probably even as a kid, like maybe even as a kid, sometimes they can manifest as dreams or nightmares and stuff, but you have these experiences and sometimes you don't even realize what they are until you're an adult. In my experience, that I was terrorized as a child through just experiences, nightmares and stuff, which happened to be paranormal. So I do have mediumship gifts, but my gifts are actually more aligned with the spirits who have not crossed over yet. And so I am picking up a male energy, and I can't determine if this is a father figure or a brother or something like that. But I'm not connecting with that as far as a message, because this person, whoever this is, has crossed over, and so they're not here with us. As far as for you, for your abilities, I have to 100% agree with Mona on this. I think that you're coming into this period where it's going to really amplify. And I think it's almost kind of like it's always been there, but maybe there's some awareness of exactly what kind of gifts it is, because, there's so many different types of psychic gifts, and that yours is really intuitive. I would almost call it more empathic, where you're able to pick up on people's emotions and their energies and their intentions. Your situational awareness is absolutely keen. So you walk into places and you can immediately pick up the energy. And it's like a high level of emotional intelligence. So you're just being able to read people, read the room, read energy. So when I say empath, I'm going to say clairsensate. Have you ever heard of that term?
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm going to write it down for you so you can read up on it, because I actually feel like that is one of your really strong intuitive gifts. The other one is mediumship. So I think you do definitely have some connection to the spirit world. And if you were to develop that, you would probably end up getting messages. And so as far as health, I really want to touch on that. So we are finishing up the series of eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. Virgo rules health, right? It's one of the work, health, service. And this has been these eclipses have actually been energizing and transforming your house of health, also your house of work too. And so we also started a newer series of Leo and Aquarius, but we're still finishing out the Virgo and Pisces. And so where this lands for you, and actually this has been landing in this area for the last I think we started in 2023, Libra and Aries and Libra. So actually, I'm going to say for the last 3.5-ish years, you've kind of been getting hit with some transformations connected to work, health, and then now it's going down into your passion. What do you want to do? Like, what motivates you, following your passion, following your heart? I actually feel it's strongly connected to maybe even nonprofit, volunteer, charity work, working with, maybe it's mentoring, maybe it's working with youth. And I'm saying that because I have that connection, and I'm feeling like it's connected to something that I do in that scenario. So since about probably 2020, I'm going to say 2023 is when I really feel like it's probably started kicking up, maybe spring of 2023. And so you've kind of gone through this journey of like work and health. And then now it was supposed to kind of go in that sequence, because let me touch on the health. Your health is strongly tied to your nervous system and your stress. So when you are going through things in life that are stressful, your body ends up responding. So everything for you health-wise starts in your mind first. And that's for everybody, but especially for you. So anything that you can adopt, like meditation or any kind of like self-care routines, especially for you specifically, because you have a lot of placements in that Virgo Libra. So you give and give and give, and you serve and you serve, and you're so generous. And so what ends up happening is, at the end of the day, there's nothing left for you. And so if you were to adopt some routines that are self-care, surrounded by like, or involving your self-love, self-care, time for yourself, meditation, very intentional self-care, you're going to see a huge relief and improvement in overall well-being, vitality, and also so that's health. So then also your work, what you do for work. I feel like there's been a big change in what you do for work, and it's going to continue to change, because now you're being led into this it might not necessarily change, but you could maybe like a dual, maybe you have like something that's stable, but there's something else that you're doing and you're being pulled to it. You're being drawn to it. It's supposed to be for a reason. And it's something that is very close to your heart. It's your passion, and it's very creative as well. So it's like a creative expression for you. So whatever that is, I highly recommend you go with it and follow it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. It's all good.
Hi, friend. Although I just met you. You are kind to your own detriment. And it's more out of a fear of someone not liking you, someone not thinking your choices are the right choices. It's almost like walking on eggshells around people to try to please them, but it's taking its toll on you. The anxiety in the stomach, in the chest, but mostly in the stomach. So if you don't start releasing that and see how valuable you really are and stop trying to please anybody except for you, you're going to end up having some issues in the stomach area. It's interesting because your daughter is in studio and she's also very, well, she's somewhere. She's also very kind-hearted. However, she has watched you, so she has made sure that it's not to her detriment. So she understands that your kindness is the way that you're supposed to be in life, but you're not supposed to be it to please everybody else, but to please ourselves, you know? So your energy is really, it really flows because she learns a lot from you. But also, I think it probably hurts her to see how much pressure you put on yourself by wanting to please or apologizing for. I don't even think half the time you know what you're apologizing for, you know? And so you're being pushed to start releasing all of this. Listen, the past is gone. It was just an experience. And to try to look at it that way instead of it was some traumatic event. No. It was an experience you had to have to be able to do what you're going to do. And, you know, when we attach to it, it becomes overwhelming. And it's just why we're doing it to ourselves.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? And you need to go back to the freedom because you have very child free flowing spirit and energy and actual mindset. So you know the power of the imagination. You know, if you focus your energy on this, this is what you're going to get. You're very aware of that, but you're not at the point where you solidly trust yourself. And if you're not going to trust yourself, who are you going to trust?
That's very true.
You know,
Yes, ma'am.
nobody can know us more than we know ourselves. They can assume, they can, you know, say all day long, but unless they ask us questions, they get to know absolutely nothing about us.
Yes, ma'am.
And for you, and the way you kind of like shut down and don't speak up for yourself sometimes, I think you can communicate fine, but not when it comes emotionally. Ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
You know? So I imagine sometimes your throat bothers you, even if it's just for a little while. Listen, what you have to say is just as valid and just as important as what anybody else has to say. And if they have a problem with it, that's their problem. Give yourself the freedom. Go and not care what anybody thinks. Who cares what they think? They're going to interpret and perceive you the way that they need to for their growth. It doesn't mean that's how it is. It means that you are a mirror and the part of the mirror that reflects to them are for their betterment.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're so welcome. See, it wasn't that bad.
I definitely want to add to that. So you have a lot of placements in a part of your chart that talks about people pleasing and like giving to others and to your detriment to Tammy's point. There's also this placement that talks about like relationships. They can be tumultuous or volatile.
Mhm.
Maybe there's even aspects of abuse of some form. Not always, but
Oh, okay.
you know, at the very least, relationships are very transformative for you. Like they change your life. They change your belief system. They change your entire, just kind of how you view things and, you know, how you live life. And then you go through these experiences. I want to take it back to 2021. I feel like maybe 2021 or maybe 2020, but I feel like probably 2021, there's probably some dynamics in relationships, maybe even some feelings of like power struggle or, hey, I have to balance out my relationships, because that was probably 2021, 2022, maybe even 2023. There were, you know, I feel like circumstances surrounding the self-identity and relationships and the relationship between the two. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So when I had my eyes closed, my ears shut in meditation, I kept on seeing, and it could be just symbolic, but a man and he keeps pounding his fist like on a table saying, wake up. It's time to wake up. So I don't know, when you're asking about someone from the other side trying to guide you, maybe that's it. And they keep saying it, and I could see it getting louder and stronger. Like, wake up, stop doing this to yourself. You know you're not supposed to do this. That's exactly what I experienced for however long they were going at.
Oh, wow.
So tell us about the spirit on the other side you wanted to connect with.
Yeah, I don't know who the gentleman is. I thought it might be Graham, my grandma coming through, but I don't know who the
So
gentleman is, but maybe they're just showing themselves as that, and it could be.
So
anything.
the person that I saw it's a gentleman,
Yeah.
and he's like thinner, and he's not really tall, but taller, and he's probably in his 60, 65, between 60 and 70. I want to say middle 60 and 70. And I just saw him, and he's just doing this.
I mean, could be your spirit guide. Doesn't necessarily have to be, because you said 3, right?
there are 3 spirits.
Could be
Yeah.
yourself too,
Right? I
Well,
believe that.
the
from
biggest
another experience. Sorry.
For sure. Yeah. The biggest thing that I kept getting is the awakening and the acknowledgement of your own intuitive abilities.
Yes, ma'am.
That's probably the biggest catalyst of this. And that, one of the best ways to relax into that is open your mind to it before you go to sleep at night. Is just, I'm open to, you can even call grandma's name, say, and grandma, would love you to visit me tonight. But it's so funny because I've had very, very rare occasions where that has happened to me, which is why I don't claim to be a medium where I'm connecting with those on the other side. But the one that was probably the most profound, there's been a few, but this one was really profound. Very dear friend of mine had passed. And it'd been a couple of months, and I was sitting in my little recliner chair. I had a cat on my lap. It was quiet because usually I don't have any music or any noise on at home when I'm wandering. I like the peaceful quietness. I like the neighborhood noises. I just like it quiet. But I was sitting down. I had the cat on my lap. She was purring, and I basically said his name, just out loud. I said his name, and like he was right there, he goes, "Why, hello there, Mona." Just clear as a bell. And then started laughing. And it was his laugh. It was his voice. And it started me. My cat jumped off the lap looking at me like, what the, because she was all happy and calm. And so it happens. But it's that's not an area I choose to focus on either. I choose to focus on what's going on now because it's the only place you have power.
Yes, ma'am.
I will say the one thing that I pick up very strongly, it's your grandmother that passed. She crossed over very quickly. Like her, so there's, and when a person crosses, sometimes it can be like weeks or even months, but she was ready and she crossed over very quickly. And also I have to say that I think she was, I'm getting like very angelic energy around her too. So I feel like that's also why she crossed over very quickly, because there wasn't a whole lot of what the reckoning day or whatever it is. Like, like she lived a very like honorable life. And so she crossed over very quickly because of that.
What I get in terms of her is she's not going to come to you for a while, because you continue to want to go outside of yourself and you need to go within yourself. And she's not going to show up until you start doing that, because it's just a hindrance for you to think it's something outside.
Let me ask you, when it comes to your intuitive ability, do you trust your intuition?
Yes.
You do. And you like practice it, like you.
I wouldn't say practice it, but yeah, I pretty much, if I feel something, then I go with it.
Okay, good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Anything else you want to
I didn't
ask?
look it
Any
up.
follow-up question?
No, ma'am.
Are you okay?
Mhm.
All right. Wow. All right, you guys, how do you be on 3? www.three.vegas. I want to thank Amber for being so brave to be here in person and be so open and vulnerable. to allow us to share with you. So thank you so much for being on the program. I want to thank Tami and Kris for being a part of this wonderful collaboration that we do here on WWDB TV. Please tune in to WWDB TV on YouTube. Tell your friends and subscribe to WWDB TV for these programs and so much other. Also, I want to remind you that Kris pens a monthly column called VegasAstrology.com, and you can read your monthly forecast. So for those of you that know what your sun sign is, but also know your rising sign,
Go by your rising.
read your rising sign, because it's more of an action quality than your actual real sun sign. So just a little tip from my astrologer friend. So thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, be well.
The cast members of 3 are not professional attorneys, CPAs, psychologists, marriage counselors, physicians, or financial advisors. You are provided with opinions that are unique to each of the intuitive performers. 3 is presented to you for your entertainment.